Sean O'Malley is an absolute star.
This guy's special.
This is just the beginning of the Sugar era.
This is the most decorated finisher in UFC bantamweight history, and he's the only man with a professional victory against Sean O'Malley.
I'm glad that happened. Me versus Cheeto 2 obviously isn't as big of a fight, so.
Poirier will face Benoit Saint-Denis, BSD, at UFC 299 on March 9th. That is an...
He's taking on
Petr Yan versus Song Yadong.
Will Jack DelaMelo take out Gilbert Burns and get...
Let's start with the fight that introduces the main card, and that's Petr Yan versus Song Yadong. Song is a striker that loves to march forward to close the distance and throw crisp strikes. He throws a lot of volume, as he showed in his last fight against Chris Gutierrez, throwing 283 total strikes. Song also has some power in his hands, knocking out 3 of his last 4 wins. The 27-year-old has the tools to break through and become a top contender in the bantamweight division, but he has to go through someone who's been at the top of the division before. Petr Yan looked like he was going to hold the bantamweight strap for a very long time, knocking out Jose Aldo for the belt. But an illegal knee, bad judges' scorecards that led to 2 split decision losses, and facing someone who seems to have 6 lungs in his body, Yan has seemingly fallen out of title contention. Yan is arguably the best boxer in the UFC, doing a good job hitting people and not getting hit. He lands 53% of his strikes while defending 59% of opponents'. For this fight, it looks to be a kickboxing match by 2 of the best kickboxers in the division. As for how this fight plays out, I think Song Yadong has trouble breaking through the top 5 and making that next step into title contention. When facing these established guys, like his last loss against Corey Sandhagen, Song has trouble getting things going in the fight, ultimately taking a loss. Yan has very good strike defense and is still only 31 years old. He still has some more left in the tank. I got Yan by decision. Next on this card, we got Gilbert Burns against Jack DelaMelo. Gilbert Burns never ceases to amaze MMA fans by never denying a fight, never making excuses, and fighting very often. After fighting 3 times in 5 months in 2023, Burns is coming back from injury and hoping to get back into the title picture after this fight. Gilbert Burns is a very balanced fighter, making sure the fight goes opposite of what his opponent is advanced at. Take his last 4 fights. Against Khamzat Chimaev, he kept the fight standing and made him go the total distance. Against Neil Magny, he took the fight to the ground as soon as possible and submitted him in the first round. Same thing with Jorge Masvidal, taking him down 4 times with over 5 minutes of control time. Unfortunately, he was hurt against Bilal, can't remember his name, Muhammad, but I bet he would have done the same in that matchup. But now he's going against the up-and-coming prospect Jack DelaMelo. Maddalena is a talented martial artist who can mix it up very well. In his first 4 fights in the UFC, he finished 3 of them by knockout and another by submission. Undefeated in his UFC career, he likes to keep the fight standing. He has crisp striking that looks like a sniper when he throws. Outside of this though, he hasn't been as sharp in his past few fights, scraping out split decision wins where he arguably lost against Kevin Holland and Basil Hafez. The way I see this fight playing out is Gilbert Burns looking to wrestle for most of the fight, while Maddalena will try to keep this fight at a distance. I see Gilbert taking the step into welterweight title contention and winning this fight by decision in a fight of the night performance. Now we got the people's main event between Kevin Holland against Michael Venom Paige. Both of these fighters fight the exact same way. Constant pressure, only striking, and wanting to put on the best show for the fans. Kevin Holland is never one to turn down a fight, even fighting 5 times in a calendar year. He's been up and down these past 2 years, losing fights that would have put him close to the title picture. But he doesn't care about that belt. All he wants to do is step in that cage and put on the best show he can. Paige is on his way to the UFC from Bellator, which is maybe why you've never heard of him. But at 36 years old, he's looking to spend the last of his career fighting for the best MMA organization on the planet. For how this fight plays out, I got Holland winning the fight. But I don't care, to be honest. I just know both of these guys are going to put on the fight of the year this coming weekend, and I can't wait for it. In the co-main event, we got top 5 lightweight mainstay in Dustin the Diamond Poirier going against prospect Benoit Saint-Denis. Saint-Denis is on a 5-fight win streak, all of those wins being by finish. He leaves nothing up to the judges, and in this fight, he's looking to do the same thing. Benoit has a 13-1 record, and all of those 13 wins have been by finish. 4 of them by knockout, and 9 of them by submission. He's a very balanced fighter, and he looks to overpower his opponents in their weak component of fighting. If his opponent is a striker, he wants to take his opponent to the ground and submit them. If they're a good grappler, he wants to keep the fight close in distance and knock them clean out. Saint Denis has unbelievable power, but he's going against a seasoned veteran in this game. Dustin Poirier has 28 fights in the UFC and has fought anybody you can think of. McGregor, Khabib, Oliveira, Holloway, Gaethje, literally any lightweight or featherweight you can think of. With this experience, Poirier has shown he's one of the best strikers in the UFC, knocking out 15 of his 29 wins. He likes to keep this fight standing and lands clean shots that can knock out almost anybody. However, whenever he fights a great grappler, the threat of being taken down is too much for Poirier, and he almost always loses those fights. That happened with Khabib and Charles Oliveira, both fights ending by submission. How this fight plays out, I think Benoit gets the job done by submission. Poirier just got knocked out by a head kick in his last fight. The last fighters that got knocked out by a head kick past the age of 35, Kamaru Usman and Alex Volkanovski, both on multiple fight skids. Call this the head kick curse for Dustin Poirier, and he'll be losing this fight within 3 rounds. Last but definitely not least, we come to the main event of UFC 299, Sean O'Malley against Marlon Cheeto Vera. These guys have a lot of history, going back to 2020 where they had their first fight together. It was a lot of build up in that fight too, as it was the co-main event of a pay-per-view and supposed to be Sean O'Malley's breaking out story. However, Cheeto kicks O'Malley in his perennial nerve, completely shutting off his leg and finishing the fight before the first round ends. That loss has haunted Sugar Sean for his MMA career, even going as far to dispute the loss with the Sugar State Athletic Commission.
I talked to the Sugar State Athletic Commission and they took it away. It's not even...
But 4 years later, it's a different story. Sean's now the champ and handpicked Cheeto Vera, even though he didn't deserve the title shot, to avenge his one loss. Let's evaluate Cheeto Vera first. Cheeto is a balanced fighter who likes to keep this fight standing. He uses kicks to keep fighters at a distance and wants to piece his opponents from afar. Cheeto is also very patient, taking rounds to analyze his opponents, which sometimes screws him over in fights. When he fights 5 rounds, he takes the first 2 rounds off and looks for the finish in the last 3, as shown against Dominic Cruz and Corey Sandhagen. It's the same fight philosophy in 3-rounders too, taking the first round off and turning it on in the latter rounds. Cheeto is a dangerous and powerful fighter, but he'll have to press the fight forward if he wants to take the belt off the champ Sean O'Malley. Sugar is, in my opinion, the best striker in the UFC. The shots he lands, the fight IQ, the arm length, the way he puts all his fight abilities together is incredible. Sean's very calculated in the shots he takes, knowing where his opponent's going to be, how far his opponent is, and even how hard to throw. The only aspect that could be exploited is his grappling ability, as he's not as well versed as most of the fighters in this division. For how this fight plays out, it's going to play out relatively slow, both fighters getting a feel for each other in the early rounds, but I feel O'Malley shows a different level to his striking ability in this bout, winning this fight by decision. Next weekend in Miami is going to be electric, so be sure to tune in to this outstanding fight card. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. All that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.